This week on Jap's Kitchen.
How does this work?
Look at you! You can't even turn the f***ing gas on.
I wonder if there's bananas in this recipe. Well, let's see how this pans out.
Who let a monkey loose in the bloody kitchen?
3 minutes on the veg tail.
Yes, chef!
You look like a cauliflower, and you can't even cut one?
Something smells good. Like bacon.
Guys?
Get out of this kitchen, you f***ing ignorant swine. I bet you I could find 10 better chefs in gaming, and they don't even exist.
Challenge accepted. Challengers approaching! I live by Chef Gusteau from Ratatouille's quote of anyone can cook, so I thought why not start a list of some of the worst chefs in gaming and work our way up to prove his words. But Remy from Ratatouille is a former sewer rat, and Peter Pepper from Burger Time violates more health and safety laws, and he's human. But Kirby's Chef KAWASAKI is at least dedicated, despite how much salt he's adding. But he's egg-shaped, and if he's an egg, my word is he a brave chef. Look at that, an egg! Yes, he probably couldn't run a restaurant with all the plates he's throwing, but he can sure practically use a spoon and frying pan in a fight. Spoon in one hand, pan in the other, chefs need to multitask, and with no body hair, Kawasaki also hits the hygiene marks bang on. Kawasaki is also the main source of Kirby's cook ability, so maybe we have him to thank for Kirby's amazing temporary chef skills in Smash Brawl of making something out of nothing. Let's also commend he's bold enough to use ingredients no other chef has even been shown to have access to, let alone use, such as stars or spiky metal gordos, but there is one saving grace that seems more appetizing to human and Kirby folk alike. Who wouldn't want to try the sweetness of a fried Maxim tomato? Kawasaki's name, meaning a wise trained man, is the icing on the cake for the set menu of the 10th best chef in gaming.
Gene Armstrong is a pretty weird character, even for Ace Attorney standards. He's an effeminate French, not French chef that not only cooks, but sells fragrance bottles as well. Add the few drops to your bath each night and let the aroma of flowers take you away. Armstrong started up his restaurant, Très Bien, in 2017. Unfortunately, he didn't attract many customers, so he was forced to take out a loan of $500,000 from big scary mobster bankman, Furio Tigre. Even then, his restaurant still flopped hard and was unable to repay the tiger. Using this to his advantage, Furio Tigre had Viola Cadaverini, granddaughter of infamous mob boss and black market leader Bruto Cadaverini, help set up a fake murder, trying to frame Maggie Bird for it, one of Armstrong's employees. He really had no choice in it. Either help assist in a murder cover-up, or it's you who's gonna be on the menu next. Armstrong's not really up to much nowadays. His restaurant became a joke at the end of Trials and Tribulations as the place to go and celebrate, but it's really more of a punishment than something to look forward to. Armstrong may not be the greatest chef in the world, but he's still #1 waifu.
Nintendo's transition from toys to gaming meshes with the release of the Game & Watch handhelds, which celebrates gaming's very first chef. Chef. Though the subtitle below isn't appearing before I've had the chance to say his real name, he's genuinely called Chef. This character is so devoted to his profession that he has no identity without it. Whenever he's turned on, he lives for it. But he probably hasn't been used since 1981. Which is why he was replaced with Peach in Game & Watch Gallery 4. But lest we forget the original skill set of flipping foods flawlessly, shrimp, steak, fish, sausages, not the most nutritious spread in the world are inclusive, but steak is all you ever need. Medium rare, peppercorn sauce, delicious. But flipping hell, imagine how good at pancakes this guy would be. This guy's a better flipper than Chaos 2. Yeah, I just threw that in there because pancakes are the only food I like more than steak. The efficiency of the chef is also questionable. Do they clean up the food falling on the floor? Do they cook the mice and 10th best cat in gaming that go for the food? The health inspector hopes not, but Super Smash Bros. Ponders the big questions. Whether any of that food ever actually gets served to customers is a mystery. Oh, the ellipses, but at least its legacy continues in Mr. Game & Watch's moveset. Whilst he lacks the teeth any chef would need, he serves up a spammable English breakfast, which combined with his oil attack makes you question what oil he cooks in. So the original Game & Watch chef still reigns supreme as a great chef in gaming. No, Game & Watch, what are you doing? Game!
When it comes to chefs in video games, you have to kind of check out the obvious franchises first. So I looked at Mario and I thought, hey, isn't there a chef that's represented by one of the Toadstool folk? So I had to check, and indeed there was. ZESS, a chef in Paper Mario The Thousand Year Door, that is so creative with her recipes that she can take items from your inventory, combine them, and make them into various meals. It takes a lot of innovation to be able to make meals out of whatever Mario seems to have at the back of his backpack. So being able to pull out a fresh roast or a cake out of maybe some mushrooms, some leaves, maybe a few bits of fire flour. It's like the Mario franchise's version of the mystery box challenge. Mario pulls out a couple of items from his backpack, ZESS accepts the challenge, comes along, makes a full-grown meal out of them. Although I have to admit, ZESS is one hell of a grumpy woman. Then again, it's kinda your fault for stepping on her contact lens. I'd be pretty annoyed, and you'd kinda have to stick with the nickname Stompy, or Sir Stomps on stuff. Not a very nice nickname to be called, but then again, her name is ZESS, so it all balances out.
So you're just moseying around the mall during the zombie apocalypse, minding your own business when you want something to eat, when you spot Antoine's. It's got a few stars and some pretty good Yelp reviews, so why not? As soon as you enter, Antoine bombards you with his presence. He thinks you're some hotshot food magazine critic, probably that guy from Ratatouille. As soon as he attempts to prepare his daily special, it becomes apparent in order to serve a fresh dish, the ingredient would have to be Soylent Green.
Soylent Green is people!
Antoine has taken a hostage to use his fresh meat. There seems to be a fascination with human meat and its freshness among Dead Rising psychopaths. After disagreeing with his cannibalistic tendencies, he comes at you like a pissed-off Chef Boyardee. Antoine's a pretty tricky psychopath. He can regenerate his health by digging into his own scattered leftovers, which isn't that surprising since he's voiced by the same guy who voiced Majin Buu. Overall, Antoine goes to great lengths to boost his reputation as a chef. It says a lot to try and kill a dad to make a dish. If it wasn't for the Fortune City outbreak, Chef Antoine Thomas would probably have been one of the best chefs the world of Dead Rising had ever seen.
Okay, that does not smell like chicken.
It's super dynamic cooking time!
Hailing from south of the border, we have one of the most enthusiastic chefs in gaming, known as the Hurricane from the Gulf of Mexico. El Fuerte is a newcomer in Street Fighter IV. While most fighters enter the World Tournament to seek revenge or stop evil organizations, El Fuerte's primary reason for joining is to share food with others. He's willing to risk his life just for his love of cuisine. During his travels, El Fuerte learns about tons of new foods and ingredients from his competition. This inspires him to mix these foods together. But it turns out that throwing chocolate in a broth is very not El Bueno. Even his fighting style is based on cooking. El Fuerte brings his trusty frying pan with him to battle, although he doesn't use it as a drying pan. His special moves are even named after Mexican food.
Tostada press! Fajita butter! Quesadilla boom! Habanero dash! Tortilla! Guacamole!
He also has alternate costumes which allow him to wear a chef's hat. And to top it off, he makes cooking puns!
Your flavor lacks punch! Can I whip you up a little something? Let's heat things up!
El Fuerte is an incredibly dedicated chef. Even though he's kinda terrible at cooking, at least he's trying. In Spanish, the word fuerte means strong, and there are few chefs in gaming as strong or as fun as El Fuerte. Now make him DLC in Street Fighter V, Capcom!
OCTODAD! Nobody suspects a thing. For playing a game where you control an octopus while you flop around everywhere, it should come to no surprise that your main threat is a sushi chef. Because of course it is. Now admittedly we don't see Fujimoto do a lot of cooking, but we can immediately see how ready he is for the role of antagonist. He wears the traditional chef attire, he's got the huge hat, and while he's not wearing an apron, he's wearing a jacket that's white, so it counts, and good god his pants are ugly, I want 20. His story arc is the basic guy that's good at his job, but insane as hell, believing that all aquatic entities are humans in disguise and are attempting to take over the world and starting a war. So he decided to be specifically a sushi chef. God fuck, alright, sure. And these feelings were taken into overdrive when he was knocked overboard by the octopus. Again, this is the most we see of Fujimoto doing his job, but his devotion to catch the octopus is pretty admirable if I'm being honest. Even then, he does eventually do the job of killing him, right? Yeah, look, see, he did it. Wait, no, that's not the real octopus, is it, or is that the I don't understand.
RUNESCAPE! Bet y'all forgot that was a thing, didn't ya? Which is admittedly something of a shame. That game has a lot of cool things. Like... this guy!
No more meals for you, fool!
This guy's a chef, but he's no ordinary chef. He's a chef with a boring fashion sense. Oh, and he's also a powerful and very megalomaniacal wizard. Basically, he used to be the chef of Lumbridge Castle, and as such, was tasked with cooking for the decennial meeting of the Lumbridge Secret Council, a group whose membership includes many of the most influential individuals of the RuneScape world. But turns out he'd been experimenting with his food, and not in the tasty way. Using his powerful food-based magic, he planned to eliminate the council and take over the world from there. Too bad he was very vocal about that plan, and his assistant put him in some alternate dimension until forever, I guess? At least until 100 years later, when the current chef of Lumbridge Castle wants to remake the dishes served at that famous council meeting from long ago for the upcoming council meeting. In doing so, he ripped apart the chains of space and time and set free the CULINAROMANCER, who immediately attacked the council. Then Deus Ex Machina happens and time stops in that room until you, the player, jump through literally every hoop ever to get all the guests to safety before going after the CULINAROMANCER directly in that random pocket dimension in the middle of friggin' nowhere. He forces you through a boss rush consisting of food-based replicas of bosses you've already fought before going in for the kill himself. That goes about as well for him as you'd expect. But hey, on the plus side...
Cheese for everyone! Wait! Scratch that! Cheese for no one!
As much as I jest though, this guy did almost succeed in destroying many of the most powerful individuals of the RuneScape universe, created functional copies of some of the most dangerous beasts you'd have encountered before purely out of food stuff, and survived for 100 years in some pocket dimension with only the life support he could conjure up. It's to the point where it's implied that unless the player stops him, the entire universe could end up being destroyed. As ridiculous as this guy seems, he really is no joke. Okay, maybe a little.
My name is Teru Hanamura. On the streets, I'm known as the ultimate cook.
What? Cook? This is a list about chefs! Fuck! Back to the drawing board.
But could you guys call me the ultimate chef instead? It has more of a big city flavor to it, you know?
Oh, never mind. Carrying on. Well, as the ultimate chef, I don't really have to explain why he's number 2, now that I think about it. Woohoo! Segment over! I'm going home!
Lotus, get back in there and do a proper segment or you're fired.
Yes, Mr. Dictator, sir.
What was that?
Nothing, sir.
That's what I thought.
Teru prepares the meals for the group while they're trapped on the unknown island, and the food is so delicious, the other students can't help but compare everything else they eat to Teru's cooking. Needless to say, it never holds up. He prepares dishes of all kinds, bringing them together to create a feast. He must be compensating for something. Probably his height. Teru satisfies everyone's appetite with food that was once beyond their wildest dreams. That almost keeps me from wanting to try it. Almost. Spoiler warning that totally disrupts the flow of my segment! If you don't want to be spoiled, the plot of Danganronpa 2, Goodbye Despair, proceed no further. Thank you, and on with the show. Oh, and did I tell you about that time Teru used his cooking ability to kill a guy? Yep, that was the thing that happened. Cleverly, he took an iron skewer and turned it into the bone on that slab of meat over there. He did this in an attempt to stab Nagito because he's a fucking psychopath and planned to murder someone for shits and giggles because hope is nice. Instead, he killed Byakuya, who didn't know Nagito's plan, and protected him as a result. Whoopsies!
Struggling for one of the best chefs in gaming?
Yeah, really am. I don't want Chef Ramsay to shout at me again.
It's okay, Mama will help you.
Cooking Mama by quantity of the longevity of her franchise with its respective sales has certainly made her one of the most popular chefs in gaming.
And whilst you cook more than her in the game, don't all the best head chefs laze about and boss other people around?
Yes, Chef.
Ah, well, yes, she is like a TV chef, as you see her on your TV.
But indeed, Mama excels any TV chef, as she's entertaining, and Mama's mentor role will save any dish from complete failure. And there's none of those shots that every other TV chef does when they look into the camera. Mama is just genuine by being friendly.
She's passionate and caring for her dish, leading to some impeccable presentation and perfect flavor if you cook with her, even if you end up with your own inedible kitchen nightmare.
Her own presentation is appropriate for the kitchen, with hygienic yet colorful attires with no animal stench or blood stains on it. Unless you play Cooking Mama Kills Animals by PETA, yeah, let's not. That's not very hot.
But I'll tell you what's hot. Her chef skills possessing one unique trait no other fictional or real chef can have. Fire. 4 eyes. Although she never cooks anything with these, that would be weird and potentially unhygienic, but it shows her burning desire to succeed in the food industry.
Kinda like a Litten. When Mama wants to turn on the fire, she will turn on the fire. Her catering for other ages and babysitting, and foraging for food of her own with her gardening skills are also to be admired.
Sushi, pancakes, instant ramen, you name it. Mama's made it, and I'm hungry.
She's also one of the most fun chefs to play with on the list, with revolutionary mainstream cooking controls, showcasing a broader variety of cooking skills than in my GCSE in catering.
A small garnish of information to make Mama flourish is that her children's names are Ichigo and Ringo, which means strawberry and apple in Japanese respectively.
Or as the Cooking Mama wiki calls Ringo, fucking go. Fucking go Smith. Ah well, Smith still has the connotations of apples, so the joke's on you, anonymous IP 749410917.
Cooking Mama has changed girl gaming forever by actually having effort put into her games, earning her the honour of the best chef in gaming, from breaking chef hat conventions with her hairband and... wait, is that a dog? In the kitchen!
Well, at least she's not eating it.
Hey everyone, it's Ren here. I hope you all enjoyed watching this countdown about chefs. Maybe it'll inspire you to pursue a career in catering and open up your own 5-star restaurant. Or maybe it'll just inspire you to leave a like. Or maybe you won't do anything. Maybe you didn't even watch this video. If so, then fine, be that way. It just means you're missing out on some amazing videos such as the top 5 teachers in gaming. Cause everyone loves school, right? Well, no, not really, but teachers are cool, especially when they're in Weave games. But if you're just hungry, then go over to Ricky's Layers Gem. He's counting down the top 5 breads in video games. Because who doesn't like bread? I mean, even Theo does. But if you're just thirsty, then go over to Stelly's collab with Jaw Cubed. They're counting down the top 5 coffee addicts in gaming. I wonder what coffee shop they go to. Hopefully not Starbucks. But if you fancy reading, as if, but if you like manga, you might want to go read my webcomic Michun. It's a bit of a romance parody involving famous YouTubers, or Michuners as they're called in this comic. But there we have it, loads of entertainment for you to enjoy. So go enjoy them, or else we'll piss in your food.
Guys? You left me in the kitchen. Can you turn the lights back on? It's really dark in here.